So yes, good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Great. Everything is working.
Yeah.
Welcome all to the second day of the Business Logistics and Modern Management of 2023. We are happy that we are having our authors from Egypt and Spain online with us. To be honest, this is the first time that we are doing like this. We were fully online on 2020, but usually we really like when people gather together in Osijek. So I hope that maybe next year you will join us to feel the Osijek and Croatia. This morning, maybe it's a little bit less people than yesterday, a lot less, because we were, let's say, partying until the late night. So this morning, I congrats to everyone who came and joined the conference. So maybe we can start with our schedule. The first presentation will be from Egypt. If you are ready, you can maybe start to share your presentation. The paper deals, the paper is titled How Logistics Performance Reshapes the Movement of Stocks in the Context of Climate Change. As I can see, two authors are with us, so maybe you can present yourself and your paper.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Good morning and warm greetings from Cairo, Egypt. My name is Khaled El Sakti from Arab Academy for Science and Technology and Maritime Transport. I would like to introduce my colleagues, Samira Allan and Mohammed Abdurraouf from Badr University from Cairo, Egypt. Today, our presentation is entitled How Logistics Performance Reshapes the Movement of Stocks in Context of Climate Change. And at the beginning, we would like to divide our presentation into 6 sections. At the beginning, we'll give an introduction why this research became significant and how could we get the motivation of this research. Then we'll go through the conceptual framework where we can thereof, we got the research questions and hypotheses. Then we will go through the literature review and research gap that we are trying to fill in this gap, and then we will display the research methodology, findings, and discussions. And at the end, we will end our presentation with the conclusion and further research. At the beginning, if we highlight how far the global supply chain became significant, and of course, we know in the last 5-6 years, the global supply chain are suffering from many challenges, starting from 2014 between USA and China trade tension, or due many political and technological challenges like Russia-Ukraine conflict, COVID-19 pandemic, many natural phenomena that affected the performance of the global supply chain. One of the main challenges imposing risk is the climate change, where the climate change imposing many countries in general and industrial countries in particular to reach and to re-engineer their policies, operations, and many other, optimizing many other processes in order to eliminate waste, capturing CO2, and other functionality and safety. We are talking about how can we move into what is called decarbonization of the supply chain. And in 2015, all of us, we followed what is called Paris Climate Change Agreement. We're imposing on industrial countries that they have, of course, we know the industrial countries, the 7G7, the Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, United States, United Kingdom, that they have to adapt all their policies regarding to adapt according to the climate change for all sectors, but mainly on industrial sector global supply chain. Why? Because the industrial sector global supply chain affected by the climate change, it was affected on their stock prices and returns. So the climate change, it's one place that can affect the global economic change, and the global economic change regarding the global supply chain has risk, and we need to assess this risk as a consequences from the climate change. Now, every logistics risk linked with the global economy can be evaluated using many tools. But when we look at the what is called the industrial sector, one of the main tools can be used is the LPI, Logistics Performance Index, with including 6 subdimensions regarding the literature review Locomi 2019. Now my colleague Samira, she will highlight the conceptual frame.
Good morning, everyone. Today I will present the conceptual framework. Conceptual framework here, I will focus on presenting the main idea of our research and how it already was developed. So I will begin with the G7 industrial countries and how they already contribute to the climate change. As you see by chart is already shows us the contribution of the G7 industrial countries. They already contribute by 19.22% of the all carbon dioxide emission, which is considered as a high percentage need to be taken into consideration while speaking about the climate change. When we focus on USA, we find that it already contributed by the emissions of percentage of 11.60% of the total emission. Next. By reaching 2022, we can find China, USA, and India already increased their emissions compared to 2021. And we can focus on United States of America as a major industrial country. Please, next. And the same title or in the same point, we can see that Germany is already remained the largest emitters of the carbon dioxide or greenhouse gas, which already very harmful also for the climate change. And it was the largest emitter by 21.9%, followed by France and Italy. By moving to logistics performance index inside these countries, we can see that there is a lot of challenges and improvement that already taken place inside these G7 industrial countries. So we reach the first step of our conclusion here that already the climate change is affect the logistics performance index inside these countries. After that, next, please. We can go to the sector that already or highly contributed to the most to the climate change. We can find these sectors as follow: energy, mobility, and material, and already they contributed by 43 and 26%, and already 24%. After that, we have to visit next the financial markets inside G7 industrial countries to reach the second step of our development of research idea. Inside G7 industrial countries, they are not only the major industrial countries, not only the from largest emissions of the carbon dioxide, but also they contain the largest or the 7 largest financial markets inside their country. But when we look or when we're narrowing down on these financial indices, we can see that they already contains or consists of energy and industry, which considered as a higher emitter. So we reach the conclusion here to give our research questions that already will present by colleague Dr. Khaled.
Thank you, Samira. Regarding what we reach, as Samira highlighted, we reach a question how logistics performance can reshape the movement of stocks in the context of climate change. From this question, we can derive 3 main hypotheses. The first hypothesis, in general, if there is any statistical significant effect of LPI on the return of stock markets indices in the context of climate change in the G7 countries. And in turn, we divide the LPI, or as you know, the LPI is divided into 2 categories, 3 dimensions regarding what is called policy regulation indicators, and 3 dimensions regarding the service delivery performance indicators. So we could make a hypothesis if there is any statistical significant effect of the policy regulations of LPI in terms of customs, infrastructure, logistics competency on the return of a stock market indices. And a third hypothesis, if there is any statistical significance of service delivery performance regarding tracking and tracing, international shipments, and timelines the return of stock markets indices. This is in the context of climate change in the 7 countries. Now, Samira, she will go through the literature review.
Okay. By visiting researchers already through their literature, we find that many researchers already have the idea of how climate change already is affect the global supply chain and how logistics performance index can be affected, drivers can affected by the climate change. At the same way, we find many studies trying to study how the climate change can affect the financial institution, investor lending banks, traditional macroeconomics, and how central banks can use their supervision and regularity to try to adapt with the climate change. And now we try to know if if the effect of the climate change already can reach the financial markets through the LPI, as the climate change is highly affect the logistics performance index, and then we can know whether these effects can reach these financial markets. In order to know these or test these hypotheses, we use already the order autoregressive distributed lag to know whether there is any statistically significant effect between the independent variable, which is represented by the logistics performance index and divided also to inputs and outputs, and whether it have already an effect on the dependent variable, which is represented by the stock index inside the G7 industrial countries. So our results come as follow. All the three main hypotheses already have been rejected, and the logistics performance index can explain about 54.29% of the changes that happen to the index return. After that, when we come to the second hypothesis, we can see that the inputs of logistics performance index has a coefficient of determination equal to 26.28%, which is considered to, which reflected that the policy regulation can explain about 1/3 of the changes that happen to the index return of the G7 industrial countries inside the financial markets, while 38.35% could be explained by tracing international shipment timelines represented by output of the logistics performance index. And now Khaled Sakti will go with a conclusion and further research. Thank you.
Thank you, Samira. So we can conclude that any enhancement to logistics policy regarding the three main dimensions of the LPI and the performance outcome, even for logistics services, this can lead to improved industrial performance, and this consequently can improve the climate change level in these G7 countries. Specific performance outcomes of logistics service delivery, such as tracking and tracing, international shipments and timing, also exert very important and significant impact on industrial index returns regarding the stock movement. For further research, we can find there is more measures can be used in future research if we continue in this research, maybe enhance the impact on financial markets indicators in the context of climate change. These measures may include, for example, not limited to, optimizing the organization of shipments, or improving the management of timing, or streamlining custom procedures, enhancing supply chains, and ensuring the provision of efficient transportation service. At the end, I would like to thank you for your listening. On behalf of me and my colleagues, wish you a very successful and best wishes for successful conference. Wish next year to be with you in Croatia. Thanks for the chair, Jelena and Valentis, for your sharing this session and giving us this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I hope you heard the clapping for you. So any questions, please? We have a mic, so I will walk to you if you would like to ask our authors. Yeah, we have a question. So.
My name is Davor Dujak. Do you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yes, and I'm coming from University of Osijek, so home ground here. I would like to thank you for your participation, for your papers and great presentation. And the question is, what would be, in your opinion, the limitations of your research, and how those limitations influence the results that you got, the rejection of hypotheses and so on? Do you think if you did something differently, the results will be significantly different? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your question. It's very important. I think, from my opinion, that we need in the future to find what is called a moderate variable between the independent and dependent variable, between the 6 dimensions of LPI. Like Germany, for example, is one of the best countries in the world regarding the logistics, but at the same time, it's one of the industrial countries that they are facing challenge regarding the climate change and eliminate emissions and capturing CO2. So I think if we can find in the future a moderate variable between the dependent and dependent, maybe more hypotheses, more relations need to be tested in the future. So thank you very much. This is a very important question.
Yeah. And do you have some idea about what could be this moderate value?
Right. Maybe the moderate variable, I think if we live in the industry for context nowadays, maybe a technology is one of the more efficient tools to eliminate waste or minimizing, say, all the consequences of the climate change or the operations and the industrial operations. So I think the technology. Yeah.
Okay.
It's an opinion, not based on a research. It's an opinion.
Can I add? Okay.
Yes, please, Samira. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you for your question. I think the moderator can go with financial knowledge, or as the investors inside these G7 industrial countries, especially the financial markets. Now we are talking about the financial knowledge or financial literacy. They have to be aware about the brown that we call the companies that are already harmful for the climate change as brown. We can categorize them like this, or green companies. They try to invest in green. They have the decision to invest already. If they have a financial knowledge in green or in brown firms, after that we can use also what we called it company social responsibility, as they already have a lot of responsibilities toward the economy and toward the population and toward the world as a whole in the context of climate change. As this a lot of companies try to go with the idea of trying to make a decarbonization and according their social responsibility. So I think we can use 2 moderate variables. Number 1, financial knowledge, and number 2, the corporate social responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer. I think in my opinion, you're going in a good way, and I'm looking forward to your research.
Thank you very much.
More questions?
Thank you very much. Wish you a fruitful conference.
I can ask.
Valentas is here. You cannot see him on the camera.
Yeah, thank you.
He will have one more question.
So it's okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. I'm Valentas from Lithuania, and I had a question. The stock price index, like the data itself is daily, monthly, and the LPI index is monthly, annually, or how did you align like the dimensions of that? Thank you.
Okay. Can I answer, please?
Yes.
In this part, thank you first for your question. Where we already recognize this type of difference between returns and LPI. So at first we try to know how they affect the daily price, and after that we try to make a cumulative return. We already noticed that the cumulative return is highly affected than the daily return of the stocks. So we go with the second point of view to know how logistics performance index can have an effect on the cumulative, not individually, not daily returns. I think that's what we do.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for presentations and questions. I think that's all for now. I think we can.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We can maybe then start with the second presentation from Spain, analysis of last mile logistics in short agri-food supply chains. Irene is with us, and please, if you can share your presentation. We just don't hear you, so maybe just your mic.
Okay.
Yeah, everything great now. Thank you. Not yet. I thought. Sorry, Irene, we can't hear you. I thought it's you, but.
Yeah, she is muted.
You need to unmute your.
Maybe you can.
Yeah, now it's okay.
I didn't realize. Good morning. Thank you for let us join online this morning. Wait a moment. Bueno. I'm Irene Navarro from the Department of Economics and Business of the University of Almería in Spain. We have written with my colleague Jerónimo de Burgos of the University too the paper Analysis of Last Mile Logistic in Short Agri-Food Supply Chain. I work too in the Department of Research and Development of COSPAL, which is an association of organization of fruit and vegetable of producer of Almería. The purpose of this paper is to analyze the practice of last mile logistic in short agri-food supply chain of fruit and vegetable sector in the south of Spain and their contribution to sustainability. We have used a methodology based in case of a study focusing a successful short agri-food supply chain that commercialized a box of fruit and vegetable in collaboration with the last mile logistic operator. We have developed a co-creation process through a stakeholder meeting to analyze their commerce and the integration with their last mile supplier. And we have prepared some interviews with the last mile operator. We think we have found a novelty perspective, which is identifying the positive and negative contribution of last mile logistic to each of the dimensions of the sustainability in this kind of short agri-food supply chain. And the limitation we can find is that it was focused on a fruit and vegetable cluster with a very particular characteristic, which may restrict the generalization of the last mile logistic recommendation in other food supply chain. As I have explained in the methodology, we can see here the figure which shows the contribution of the stakeholder of each working group in the SWOT process we have developed, and integrate and synergistic partnership can be developed to share knowledge and build innovative capacity to improve the sustainability in the supply chain. We can find the strength, the opportunities, the threats. We have started our study, analyze the phases in the hybrid agri-food supply chain. It starts with the supplying the inputs such as seed, packaging by the supplier. After we continue with the primary production, where the farmer produces fruit and vegetable in greenhouse. In the processing, for example, packaging which is carried out in the handling cooperatives where the products are processed, prepared for sale and stored in cold storage. And after, if we see the figure, perhaps it's easier, finally the chain is bifurcated at the marketing level and logistics. One on the hand, the traditional chain can be seen in the upper part of the figure. Packaging fruit and vegetable are sent to a varied set of intermediaries that are different channels to bring their product directly or indirectly to final consumer, like wholesale brokers and large supermarkets. In the other hand, the supply chain is shorted in the bottom of the figure by selling the product through e-commerce and delivering directly to the end consumer through the last mile logistics. We can see here a graphic of the different phases and case stakeholder integration for sustainability. We have to check the process to delivery the fruit and vegetable box to find the specific characteristic of last mile in this kind of short agri-food supply chain. It starts with the collection usually by truck from the last mile operator. After the boxes are grouped with goods from other customers, according to the destination of the package on domestic routes, the transport is optimized. These boxes of vegetables are loaded in conventional vans, not refrigerated, because the boxes travel at night to destination that avoid the crowded hour and maintain better temperature. They must be at the destination delegation at first time in the morning. And after the boxes are prepared for dispatch, normally together with third-party goods, to be delivered to the end customer before 2 p.m. So it can mean that after collection, less than 24 hours. Packaging is fundamental for preservation of the product. They usually use cardboard. We can realize we have a specific and differential characteristic. We have here a graphic to show. The boxes is concentrated in cooler months because of the seasonality of the growth. Last mile logistic operator has an internal protocol for delicate product as a priority delivery, which help avoid food waste. They have policies to reduce CO2 emission, and political market have an important role too. We can find the conclusion, which is the last mile logistic contribution to the three main pillars of the sustainability. In the economic dimension, we can affirm that reduced time and cost of distribution, boxes of fresh fruit and vegetable, very important to avoid waste food, provides values to fruit and vegetable that are in perfect condition but not have the site or appearance specification required by large distributor. We can find too in the negative side the lack of refrigeration of the goods leads to an increase the risk of the deterioration of the product. The customer wants a variety of product in the fruit box which require more handling and that increase the risk of spoiling. In the social dimension, it's important to reduce the intermediaries. It simplifies and makes traceability more accurate, shortening the delivery period to the customer. It facilitates the consumption of healthy product in a better state of conservation. It also reduces food waste and losses, both reducing the storing time and facilitating the marketing of products that are not in demand by wholesales or large distribution chain. As negative aspect, we can find that perhaps it loses the perception of local product and proximity to the consumer that the short food distribution channel provides. In the environmental dimension, we can find that logistic operation is a more efficient way as it carries out operation grouped with specialized fleet and facilities. Moreover, thanks to a more accurate information system, it adjusts transport time with less traffic, avoiding traffic jam and reducing pollution. They also tend to have carbon footprint compensation programs. As a negative effect, we can find that the need for the consumer to receive the good at the agreed place and time of delivery can cause delivery delays that increase product damage. Finally, it should be noted that the increase of demand for home delivery vegetable boxes can also help to the sustainability of the last mile logistics by increasing the traffic of goods and enabling the development of economic of scale and scope, and by incorporating values for favor a rational use of the last mile, because the cost of transport is usually included in the price of the final product, but the delivery is not free of charge. That's all. Thank you for attending this exposition this morning. And if you have any question, please let me know.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Any questions for our colleague?
I have a question.
Valentas? Yeah.
Thank you.
Please.
Yeah. Also.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hello. I wanted to ask if we shorten the food supply chain and we like deliver the products to end consumers, not through retail shops, so we lose economy of scale, and how these companies can still compete with traditional retail shops. Maybe you have some insights about that. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Really, this kind of hybrid agri-food supply chain is developing in traditional ones, which is basically exported companies. They have a lot of certification and quality rules to find. So they decide to develop a short one, which is the hybrid one. Really, they have the advantage or the synergies to work with in a traditional or big export supply chain, but they have find the gap to go directly to the end consumer, and that allow avoid food waste, because they always have some fruit and vegetable that they can find market in the export one, not because of the fruit or the product are in bad condition, but they have, for example, not commercial side. So it's very important to increase the sustainability, and of course, as they have the advantage of the large or traditional supply chain, they can take the advantage of scale and big volumes that the other one, the traditional, has.
Okay, thank you.
Not at all.
Thank you. One more question?
We are in charge of questions. So, we have a similar situation here in Osijek.
I can hear you well.
Do you hear me now?
Better, thank you.
Okay. We have similar situation in our part of Croatia, which is agricultural part, and more of small producers try to go through e-commerce to short supply chains. But it's not a question, it's just a comment about risks that they are facing. So their cost structure is changing, and the risk of changing of demand is also very realistic. Because when they are producing for big retail chains, they know exactly when they have to produce, how much to prepare, and they know when it will be sold. But when they are trying to be available for small customers online.
Thank you for your question. I'm not sure to hear correctly. I'm trying to answer you. If you have more question or not is exactly my answer fixed with your question, please let me know. really the philosophy of this kind of boxes are not exactly to fix a concrete demand of the end consumer. The philosophy of this kind of vegetable box is that the content is not fixed, is variety depending of the season of the year, the product that the traditional supply chain has free or not or not dedicated to the sport. So the consumer, when he buy the box, he knows that it's not going to be a fixed content, it's going to be changing. So they have the advantage that have product which have a certification of quality, for example, depending of the product they are going to export, Global Gap or others, with a production of with a complement of a lot of rules of quality as biologic flight without pesticide, but they don't really know exactly which kind of vegetable is going to receive in each time. They know that it's going to be some variety and they like. Sometimes even they try to add some product which is novelty in the market or not, or they can see in the local market because are used to export. So these kind of things add some interest for the end consumer. And of course, they have very fresh the product because they receive in the same 2 days or 3 at much after the product is collected from the greenhouse. I don't know if you have more question. I come here now. I come here now.
Sorry, we were muted. Can you hear us now? Everything okay now?
Yes, perfect.
Just one short comment, maybe. I know that during COVID time, short food supply chain was very hit in us.
I come here now again. But in reference with COVID period, of course, this kind of short supply chain was improved in COVID period. And after the people understand how to buy in e-commerce, they are making a lot of progress, even taking more reference or preparing innovation. Can you hear me? I can hear the organization.
Yes, I'm sorry. It seems like we are having issues with internet, but luckily we managed to have your presentations online. I gave a comment now, but maybe I will not repeat it. I don't know how much if you hear it, but yeah, all the best. We will stay the camera and mic if you want to stay with us until the end of this session.
Okay, perfect.
Will be, will be in person. So thank you for sharing your works.
Okay. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you. Maybe we can. Sorry. Yeah, I will give the word to Valentas, who will take this session. Yeah, for the further papers.
Yeah, and maybe we should share the screen, the presentation.
No, we will turn the camera maybe
okay.
for them to see the presentation.
Yeah, okay, so I will continue then. We have next presenter, so Boris Jereb and Milena Kaiba.
No, we will skip that one for now.
We'll skip, okay. So we can proceed to the next one, Milena Kaiba and Mateusz Obrec and Tina Hwajta or Osterschek. how can digital twins enable a more sustainable logistic industry? Here, you didn't put your presentation. Oh, here the pointer opinion. Yeah, if somebody doesn't listen, you can shine in the eyes. Yeah, you can make the slide sharing.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, hello from my side. I'm going to present you our latest research that is titled "How Digital Twins Enable a More Sustainable Logistics Industry." So first of all, I know very catchy topic, but it's a literature review, so it's not very content oriented. It's more like reviewing the existing literature. The main author is not with us, Milena Taiba. So she's the expert for digital twins. I'm personally dealing more with sustainable logistics. Okay, I'm coming from Faculty of Logistics. We are divided to 5 laboratories. Here you can see them, and actually all of them are dealing with some extent of green or digital transition. So each and every one is dealing with specific fields of green and digital transition, which is also the focus or the priority of European Union in general. This research was also funded by the European Union and our Ministry for Education, Science and Sport. Presentation structure will be as follows. So I think we can start with the motivation, scope, and gap. First of all, if we talk about the sustainability, we are all aware that this issue is becoming more and more not just important, but more and more, let's say, business oriented. Why so? Because we have now ESG standards, we have European Union taxonomy, sustainable investment taxonomy, so also banks, financial funds, and each and every institution that didn't have to deal with sustainability in the past will have to deal with sustainability in the future. Whether they like it or not, they will have to monitor and present some data, sustainability factors to their shareholders, to the country, to the government, and so on. So even if it would be just for the government, then of course companies wouldn't be that interested. But if it is also for the shareholders, then it becomes important business issue. We also have a corporate sustainable reporting directive that is going to take effect next year for the large companies and 2026 for the medium-sized companies. So again, each and every large company will have to start with sustainability reporting next year. So this paper was then further focused to digital twins, which, if we use the definition they use, insight into the past, optimization of present, and innovation of future performance. So if we go that way, we can see that actually digital twins enable better representation and simulation of present and future effects. So because sustainability is changing from being something that is not feasible and very expensive to something that must be done and that could bring additional money, digital twins are of course a very welcome tool to try to integrate some changes into future, let's say, decision making and processes and all business activities. So the gap that we found was that there is a lack of studies dealing with the implementation of digital twins for more sustainable logistics. And our objectives were to identify the number of papers, where these papers come from, and whether they are oriented only on one aspect of sustainability, or is it a comprehensive review dealing with social, environmental, and economic issues, and to, of course, divide it to different logistic sectors. So how we did it? It was a review of 2 databases. So we can see that both databases actually contained only 79 documents. So after removing duplicates, it was only 47 documents that was identified from this research. So this was the first step: identification, defining keywords, defining databases, and then going into deep into reviewing first titles and abstracts, and then at the end also the full text. So what have we found out? We can see that there was a big jump in the publications in 2021. 2022 was already low, and in 2023 we included all the papers that were published by the July, so first half of 2023, and we can see that it is still declining. What was quite a surprise for us, but that's what the data show. Here we can see the occurrence regarding the geographics. We can see the most, let's say, relevant countries in these fields. So China, France, Hungary, and Italy. On the other hand, then we also went to the bibliometric analysis, and I won't take too much time for that one. The most important part that we did was also to define the sustainability dimensions included in those papers. We found out that most of them, majority of them, is only focused on environmental issues. So this is a big challenge for the future. And this is also something that usually media, our students and colleagues, and also those experts that are dealing with sustainability or environmental issues, many times don't divide sustainability from environmental protection, for example. So sustainability is much wider. It includes all 3 aspects. So it's not just about being environmentally friendly. You also must have a positive cash flow and everything, so to stay alive, actually. And of course, you also have to focus on social dimension. And we can see that there were most of the papers were focused only on environmental issues, and those that were focused also on social and economics were also included environmental issues. So these are also 3 papers that included the whole sustainability, let's say, more comprehensive. So we also divided them on the fields of logistics application, on the supply chain systems. So here we can see that most are focused on processes, on systems, and on the logistics, construction, and the transportation sector. To conclude, actually, publications like this, as we can see, are quite rare. So there is not much research published in this field. Specific results of this research also confirm and gives validity to all the present researchers that also pointed out the same conclusion. And what was the main limitation? We also said that this was about application of digital twin for increasing sustainability. So when talking about the application, we only reviewed the scientific papers into databases. Applications could be done also in companies, in institutes, everywhere else, where they don't publish this. So in general, of course, let's say this use might be significantly higher, but regarding the data that we considered, these are the actual numbers. So thanks for your attention, and let's keep to the saying that the technology like digital twins have a big role, but first of all we have to participate in this as human beings, as a society, and this is the only way that we can effectively use it. Thanks.
Do you have any questions?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the really nice to listen to it and look at it. I think we have read all 3 papers that were published in Hungary to the point because we kind of know the project is ongoing and the application. And what came to my mind about this is if you're going to go further with this research along the lines of KPIs, to formulate KPIs with regards to sustainability, to use it as an input for digital twins, or what is your future research direction?
Yeah, as mentioned before, my colleague Milena Kaiba is actually a PhD student, and she's doing PhD from the field of digital twins application in logistics. So my field of study is more related to sustainability. I was included in this part of her research, but I'm not yet sure about her future steps. So I know some things, but maybe she would be better. It would be better that she would say more about that, but unfortunately she's not with us. Dorothy Rep is her mentor otherwise, but she's also not with us because of the illness today. So yeah, I can't, sorry, but I can't answer.
Okay,
I can ask her, I can email you if you're interested.
Yeah, for your professional opinion, these are a way.
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course, these are the ways. If you want to use digital twins simulations effectively, you need as much data from the real environment as possible. So regarding the KPIs for the sustainability are more or less well developed now already. It would be wise, let's say, to use some kind of KPIs from the ESG standard that are quite well developed, or we can use those that are related to carbon footprint calculation, for example, for scope 1, scope 2, for scope 3. We can use it as an input, digital twins. We were also dealing with one research about the use of, let's say, about the real-time, that was based on the real-time data for optimization of third-party 3PL logistics providers. So this was also interesting study, and in that case, it was not focused on some kind of business improvements, but it was the focus was how to improve the sustainability. So how to, let's say, make the delivery window wider, but not because it would affect the finances, but because it would affect the sustainability issues. We don't need so many vans, we don't need so many people, we don't need to deliver something within the rush hour, so we use less gasoline, we have smaller energy consumption, and so on and so on. So that was the focus, and how to convince people to take, let's say, less convenient time window, because that brings some sustainability improvements without offering them some, let's say, financial benefit. So that was also one thing that we did in the past with another which we can do.
Thank you. Yeah. Any more questions? Okay, so thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So we can move to the next presentation. Roman Gumzev, Thomas Krambergen, and Davor Duyak, knowledge base for strategic logistics planning.
Thank you.
Yeah, I need to vote.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Okay, thank you. My name is Roman Gumzev. I'm presenting our contribution entitled Knowledge Base for Strategic Logistics Planning. This work is part of a project bus for CSC. It is a multilateral project between our university, our faculty, the faculty here in Osijek, from Novi Sad and from Poznan, Poland. So this is our part of it so far. In this project, basic project analytics skills in supply chain management are investigated in order to build a curriculum of specialized contents for students of the participating universities. As part of this team, our group is investigating different methods and topics from basic statistics to AI applications. And in this paper, an attempt to build a knowledge base of institutional knowledge for strategic logistics planning is presented. It uses semantic web and online analytic technologies to structure the knowledge and make it accessible. Let's jump right into the solution. On the left-hand side, you can see the ontology graph of our example solution, prototype solution, where the experiences of our group in our knowledge base, they have the form of DIP nodes. So first, they are composed of the diagnosis composed of symptoms. Then we have an assessment method and the planned actions from that experience. These experiences are composed of plans and may become parts of larger plans. If we dive deeper into the source code of such an experience in our knowledge base, you can see that it is built on practical logic, but uses controlled natural language. This has two benefits. The first one is to be able to reason on this knowledge. The second benefit is to make it more human readable. And from the previous slide, you already know how experiences are composed. In addition, they are further characterized by their scope, type, and focus as usual in supply chain management operations. If we take a look at our solution, it has the properties of an expert system for strategic logistics planning. It contains a knowledge base of improvement solutions for concrete problems. It contains a reasonable to be able to manage this knowledge, and it contains various tools to be able to access this knowledge and make an online analytic processing and decision making. So, in conclusion, I would like to discuss this solution from different aspects, from the technological to the expert view. From the technological point of view, we found out that the ontological representation of institutional knowledge is appropriate for the reasons that I mentioned. First, it is human readable, and second, it enables reasoning on this knowledge. From the managerial point of view, it enables managers at different levels of decision making to make decisions on concrete problems and foresee their impact and feasibility and cost. And from the experts' point of view, the experts being the primary users of our knowledge base, they are the ones who will maintain it. This knowledge base provides a catalog of previous experiences for root cause analysis and reuse, fine-tuning. Hence, reducing the need to investigate everything from scratch every time. And this concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Do we have questions? Yeah, we have them there.
How can we imagine, how can I use a system like this? Is it open for me to use? Is it?
Not yet. It's
Okay, what is the plan?
The plan is to make it accessible to all the participating universities to be able to contribute to this knowledge base, to structure it in ways that will enable the assessment methods to be assembled in one place to be usable as part of these experiences. And the tools that has been used in order to produce this knowledge base, this is the Montorian Fluent Editor. It enables access through the APIs of R, of Python, and by accessing it on the semantic web, you can use the Postgres server, for example, to access this knowledge directly and remotely in the cloud. So this data is meant for, as institutional knowledge, to be able to store knowledge of organizations about their supply chains for sustainability reasons. This knowledge can also live with our organization as it evolves, but it has not to die with the organization if it changes ownership, for example. So it is the kind of thing that, as a brand, for example, the brands usually don't die; they change ownerships, and this institutional knowledge, which is associated with the brand, with the firm, with their supply chain, and its management, is then transferred to the new owner. So it not only does not rely solely on the experts, on the people who are employed in the firm. It lives on and evolves with the company.
Any more questions? Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
Well, if you check like different universities, different countries, so language issues and also scientific field like supply chain management can be analyzed from social science, from mathematics, operation research, and some of them talk about the same thing but use different terminology. Yeah? So how do you take into consideration well these issues like language and definitions to connect them?
Yes, the lingua franca of science currently is English. So this was the chosen language, and from the different aspects, from different experts' point of views, this can be structured in the knowledge base. But from our project's point of view, the experiences that we collect are mainly about analytics. So it is not about social science, it's not about environmental issues, it is mainly on operations planning.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Any more questions? No. Okay, thank you. Okay. Yeah, so we can move to the next presentation. Robert Idbeck and Verica Budimir, the role of Internet of Things data aggregation for optimizing object tracking and key performance indicator monitoring. Maybe you didn't turn off the previous one. Oh, you did. It's yours. Oh, yeah, fine. Let's go.
Thank you all. Today, I would like to present you the paper that my dear colleague Verica Budimir and I wrote. So it's based on the theme topic of the role of IoT data aggregators for optimizing object tracking and KPI monitoring. So for the beginning, I would like to shortly introduce you to the agenda. I will talk about introduction, why this matters, methods that we used to create this paper, results. I will talk about current advances in the object tracking technologies. I will try to briefly cover indoor tracking and outdoor tracking. We are all aware of the use of that. I will try to explore more usage of data, IoT data aggregators, and for the real world scenario, I would like to present the work that we did. We created one report based on driving quality assessment, and of course, results for the last part of the presentation. So for the introductions, yesterday we spoke about Internet of Things. I think that a few speakers raised the question of big data that is produced by various IoT devices. For example, very big data from sensors, actuators, and vast majority of smart hardware. So basically, the need is to efficiently analyze all those massive data, and it is a pretty big thing now because real analysis is not easily done with a massive amount of data. So if we have data on one spot from the various sources, we can make some kind of data analysis. We can use some artificial intelligence to let us know some insights. We could maybe predict some trends and so on. So we need data from various sources on one single spot, one single database. And there are many questions arising from that point of view because, for example, if there is a scalable enough solution that can collect all the data from the various devices. Now we have some answers to that question. Or, for example, is there any strategies that can be developed to enable real-time analysis of data from various sources? For example, there is a big question about interoperability about different IoT devices. Many vendors use some kind of definitions how IoT devices from their manufacturer talk to other systems or devices, but there is really no single strategy to use all devices in one spot. And we can also talk about the security and privacy issues. I heard yesterday about physical internet and things about that, and that arise very big questions about security and privacy of data that is transferred via the network. So basically what we did, we done some data collection. We managed to acquire about 55 megabytes of raw data that were sent from the sensors. We then put those data in database, analyze that data, and come to some conclusions on how to use data from various sources in order to make better business analysis, to better understand the business processes that are undergoing in some company. Of course, when we have everything in one spot, we can use some kind of artificial intelligence and neural language processing just to know more about the data that was collected. So basically, main research goal is to explore the usage of IoT data aggregators to collect the data from various sensors and to use that in logistics primarily. Now I will talk a little bit about the outdoor and indoor positioning. We are all very aware of GPS and global navigation satellite systems. We all have in our phones, in our cars, in our watches, some kind of GPS devices which can acquire position. But I think that we are not very aware that this technology is advancing also. And for example, now we have various global network satellite systems. For example, one well-known is GPS, and we have Russian drones. We have, for example, Chinese Baidu. We have, for example, newly implemented European Galileo, which is far more advanced. But when we have devices which can use all those networks, we can have a much better precision because we can calculate current position based on more satellites. So basically, those systems are advancing also. I want to mention that this month and for the following future, newly arise the GPS devices came to market, which are not only using L1 frame, but also use L5. And that means that in the following months and the future, we will have about double the precision of current GPS system. So if we want to further use those systems in order to better know where the position of some unit is, there is another IoT devices that are called accelerometers. So basically, if we have a 3-axis accelerometer, we can know what kind of a force is needed, was needed to put object from one place to another. So basically, for example, if you have a GPS tracker in your car, you cannot know how harsh is the driver, and with the accelerometers, you can add additional layer of information to your reports. So basically, what we done was will be mentioned in the following slides. When we are going to speak about indoor positioning systems, when all another technologies are used for indoor positioning of objects. We cannot use GPS, as you all know, for the indoor positioning because GPS satellites cannot go through the walls. And if we have some goods or cars or something that we need to track inside the building, well, there is a problem with that. And if we want to have the bigger picture about moving of goods from one side to another, and we want to include outside tracking as well as inside tracking, we have a problem. So one way to use to fix that problem is to use some kind of data aggregators which can receive data from various sources. I won't go deeper into some technology, but for example, two technologies that are very widely used for indoor tracking is Bluetooth low energy devices and ultra wideband for ultra high precisions up to few centimeters indoors. Basically, I explained why we need to use the IoT data aggregators, and there are many systems that can be used. For example, one of the biggest systems that aggregates data today is Apache Kafka. Maybe you heard of it. It is very scalable solution, but not so suitable for logistics, for example. We need to change those systems so that they can acquire more logistic-oriented data. If we have data on one spot, we can enrich received data with another data, and we can have better information. For example, we can create some assessment of driver quality, and that is what we did here. Basically, we used eight top of the line GPS tracking units from Teltonika, Lithuania, and we used the data from 3-axis accelerometers to acquire G-forces that are happening in the car. So what we did after that is we created some table which represent how much penalty should driver get if the G-forces are, for example, too high. If a driver brakes very much and very hard, then this information is shown on the one report. This is the table that we use. This table is suitable for a light vehicle, and if you have heavy vehicles and buses and trucks, something like that, of course, these measures need to be lower. So, for example, if drivers accelerate more than 0.8 G, then a penalty of about 2,000 is added to that driver, and so on. It's easy table. So basically, what we did after that is we get the good information for manager to see how this concrete vehicle is driven. For example, those 8 vehicles that we are using have the rank from 0 up to 10. If a driver drives 8, 9, or higher than that, it is very easy driving, which cannot be detected with the current GPS tracker that is mounted in your car. If drivers set the rank low, this driver drives that car very hard, and of course you can expect that fuel consumption and the usage of that car explodes. So basically, with something like this, you can use the data from various sensors in order to get this simple report. Our results concludes that IoT data aggregators can play a vital role in the next years, not only in the sectors like manufacturers or logistics or agriculture, but also in the sectors like, for example, retail. We can say that data aggregators can provide a real-time performance metrics. And when you have data from various devices on one spot, you can use some analysis tools to get information about your business processes as soon as possible. What we concluded here is that technical challenges are very important, and today's data aggregators are not ready to be deployed in the field of, for example, logistics. Why? Because of the standardization. There are many devices, and every device talks with another language. And you need to have some kind of a system which can understand all the different device types, and that is pretty hard to get. Because, for example, if you have one manufacturer, maybe even on that manufacturer you have different protocols of communication for various models of its units. And of course, for the last thing, challenges such as data security, we talked about that yesterday, privacy need to be addressed for that. There are numerous data aggregators that can be used, but we think that in the following years, some data aggregators, especially for the use in logistics, would be created. Some of that are emerging right now, but if we want to have one do-it-all software, then maybe it is the currently best positioned data aggregators like Apache Kafka. So basically, this was it. Thank you for your participation, and if you have some kind of questions, I will try to answer.
Thank you. Do we have questions?
I have a comment. I see very nice use in distribution centers and warehouses, where we can get data from the commissioners, from the forklift drivers, and maybe pair it with the data about damages on the goods and some kind of accident that happened. And if it happens, you can say this is why how you drive. And it correlates with the probability of accidents or damages that you have to change. We will track you next month or something like that. So, and it happens. Even if we have regulations about maximum speed in the warehouse and so on, people drive like Formula 1. So I think it's very, very interesting how to use it.
Yes, thank you. The possibility expands even further. For example, if you have a vehicle and you set some speed limit, for example, for 130 kilometers, that speed limit will fire only if you are going on the highway, for example. So it's no use when you go nearby the school for example, 80 kilometers per hour. On the highway, it's not a problem. By the school, it's a problem. So when you use another layer of information, when you use the layer which knows exactly what is the speed limit on that concrete road that the vehicle is traveling, and you know that this driver added 50 more kilometers per hour than which he should, then you can add additional penalty for that. So not only you can
monitor.
Yes.
Not only monitor, but also act.
Yes, yes. This kind of reports should be used in the beginning, maybe for adding more on salary for those drivers who behave as they should. And of course, if you are a business owner, then it is very important for you, for the financial perspective, to know that your heavy and very expensive equipment is used very harsh on the road. So I think that investing in those systems from the financial perspective is something that every business must do, because it's not investing it's not cost, is investing in lowering total cost.
Do you have any more questions?
I have some doubts, but I would like to express them. As drivers are paid by productivity, turns out penalized by speed. No? So it's conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, so we can move to the next presentation. Sławomir Vukmirovic and Zvonko Chapko and Antonio Gido, transport network optimization based on finding optimal and suboptimal solutions on the example of the Rijeka urban agglomeration. Maybe I can open through. Oh, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's authorized and the laser is being. If someone doesn't listen, they can try it back. Yeah,
So, hello everyone. It's really an honor to be here today with you and to present the paper Transport Network Optimization based on finding optimal and suboptimal solution on the example of Rijeka urban agglomeration. The authors of this paper is Professor Sławomir Vukmirovic, Professor Zvonko Chapko, and myself, Antonio Gido. So to introduce, so this paper actually is exploring the transport network modeling and optimization according to the Rijeka urban agglomeration. So we connect 14 cities. We find the optimal solution and suboptimal solution on the context. I'm sorry, it's my first also presentation today on the conference. So yeah, sorry for my notes. Anyway, so the algorithm that we use is actually traveling salesman problem algorithm. We use Excel, Visual Basic, for calculating the suboptimal solutions. And also we find it according to the 14 cities, which are mutually connected, with also a few points, which are actually the central points in agglomeration field. So the structure of the paper is actually divided in 7 chapters. The 3 main chapters that are calculated are actually a concept model of transport network. Also, we show the algorithm, how actually we present it on a Google Maps, and how actually optimal solutions are divided, and also business impact on transport network and the final results. So the hypothesis that we use is actually to use and to actually approve if our algorithm is actually showing the optimal solution, and if what are actually the possibilities of suboptimal solutions that are impacting actually business outcomes at the end, because also optimal and suboptimal solutions, if we are using them, can at the end lower our costs and utilize transparent capacity, and also at the end give us greater profits. So the finding is actually based on the development strategy from Rijeka urban agglomeration. So this strategy is put in force from 2021 until 2027. So currently new categorization of the cities is that we have 14 self-governmental units. Those are including cities and municipalities. Cities are Rijeka, Bačka, Kasa, Kraljevica, and Opatija, and municipalities are Čavle, Jeleni, Klana, Kostrena, Lovran, Matulji, Mošćeniška Draga, Omišalj, and Viškova. So this actually table presents the distances between the cities. So we can see here 40 cities on this. Let's say if we are looking at it on a graphical side, it's going to be epsilon axis. So it's actually 14 cities. The distances are calculated according to Google Maps, which is actually our platform for the distances. And yeah, we can see here the distances between every cities, which are at the end used in our calculations. With X-Express, we use this tool for testing everything, testing the results. And we can see that actually the result is matching according to X-Express and also Excel, Visual Basic. And here we can see actually on this map, which I will actually explore in the next slide. So we can see actually that these are two divisions. So segment 1 is showing this part. So we can see two center points, which are Rijeka and Jelenia. And those two center points are actually used as the basic points for the calculating the two segments. The limitation here is actually that exhaustive search algorithm and Excel is using maximum 9 nodes. And we can see that here is 14 nodes in a total. And we can see actually that by combining all together, we see actually those two segments. This is actually calculation that is coming from algorithm. And we can see that actually in the total we have 40,000 more actually than 40,000 results in the total for one segment and also for the other segments. And also we took only few results that are actually optimal. We took actually length, which is fixed value. And also time is actually a value that is not fixed. So during each time of the day, we have different time that we need to come to some destination. So this table actually is showing the consolidated results from those two segments. So we can see that actually our first 4 solutions are showing the optimal route, which is actually matching to X-Express. And those are actually according to the length. So we can see that here the length is the shortest one, and also time is the shortest, and the other ones are suboptimal solutions. So during every different day of the time of the day, we can actually go through maybe some suboptimal solution, or maybe choose some optimal solution depending on the day of the time. And this is actually what is showing actually the combined solution. So we can see that actually on this map, we can see here difference and here difference. So first one is, as I say, central point, Jelenia and Rijeka. Jelenia is then going directly to Omišalj. And here we can see that we are going from Bakar, Kraljevica, Omišalj, and then to Kostrena. And on the segment 1, we can see that we are going from Rijeka, then directly to Mošćenička Draga, then Lovran, and then Opatija. And here we can see that it's actually going first to Opatija, then Mošćenička Draga, and then to Lovran. And to finalize everything, so we use actually transport algorithm, which is actually showing the criteria that is minimum transport length, because also length is the fixed variable. And we can see that there is a synergy between the transport cost, time, route alternatives, and etc. And also we can see that transport routes are also depending according to the time of the day. And yeah, we can choose each time of the day different route depending on what is the criteria. And at the end, we actually prove our hypothesis, and we actually approve that visual object modeling in exhaustive search algorithm actually enable network optimization and actually impact the business result in a positive way. Thank you for listening.
Do you have questions? Yeah, we have to.
My question is that can you imagine, let's say, a courier who is going through this structure of the city and surroundings?
Yes, actually today we have also smart, let's say, trucks, where actually this is, let's say, some background solution, backend solution. So today we have actually also real-time truck systems that are already inside some big trucks and the salesman cars. And they're actually using let's say, this kind of algorithm to, and also Google Maps, for example, to automatically give them optimal and suboptimal routes. So let's say that this is some backend solution, and some salesman is not going to analyze like which is now on the paper the best route. The program will immediately give it to him.
Okay, so you want to put it on the market?
Well, it's already on the market actually. So this is actually one of the examples that is actually free to use. So this is actually in Excel Visual Basic. There is also some commercial programs that are already in use, but that is something that the companies are paying. Also, there is possibility, there's actually some really big companies that are having their own custom solutions. So it's already on the market. So traveling salesman algorithm is actually something that is explored already for a lot of years. And now it depends which commercial maybe off-the-shelf product you will buy, and and also how you will integrate it with your already existing applications. So for example, some maybe tech stack that is matching to the exact product that you already have, you will maybe use that commercial already existing product. For example, this one is having the limitation because I would say it's more for less complex distances and less complex amount of the nodes. So we can see here that we need to divide in 2 segments because we have in total 14 of them, and actually maximum one is 9. So if we have, for example, nodes that is like 15 amount of nodes, then probably you will use maybe some commercial of the shelf product, which is actually showing more results, and it's used for larger amount of nodes and cities and etc.
Thank you. Any more questions, please?
Thank you for the presentation. My question is, do you have a reason in mind what makes these different looking to be optimal? Like so in my mind, peak is in the morning and then comes another peak in the afternoon. And that should be more or less the same in every foreground region. But from your solution, it seems like there is a difference in that. So do you know, or do you have a hunch about it? What is the reason behind the difference?
Yes, so this is exactly actually why we use also suboptimal solutions. So for example, maybe optimal solution, as you say, maybe in the morning when it's a peak, we will then maybe not go, I will just go, for example, here. So we would not, for example, let's imagine that in the morning, like 8 in the morning, Bakar is a really, really huge traffic jam. Okay, then we see actually here that this suboptimal solution is actually leading us not directly to Bakar, so we will maybe go to the first to Omishan, where there is not a lot of car jams, and then maybe after 1 hour, when this car jam in Bakar ends, we will go then on 3rd place to Bakar and then to other cities.
So what is the difference between the urban regions? Like one has a really heavy peak and the other one is manageable. Is it the structure of the urban area, or is it the people, or the habits? Or
yes, it can be. It can be also. There is now a lot of other variances that can be looked into. So also it can be like the infrastructure also can be impact. So this is also something that could be analyzed in the future. So if we are also, I mean, looking the time and the infrastructure, and maybe if that region is somewhere where the huge companies are located, and maybe on this place there is much more people that are coming in, and maybe some region is more like where it's schools. So maybe that also part. So there are a lot of factors that can impact. It depends also what it is. It is logistic type. So, for example, if we have some the middleman that is focused only for the supermarkets, and then we can see also what are the environment of those supermarkets. It's maybe retail for the clothes. We can see like what is that part where the clothes, where the stores. So it can depend.
Any more questions? No. Okay, thank you. And maybe we have Borut Yera, the presentation that we skipped in the beginning. No. Okay. So then we can move to the last presentation. Okay, so I will present Valentas Gružauskas and joint research with Aurelija Burinskienė and Davor Dujak. So this is an ongoing project, so this is work in progress still. But I worked with this approach for a few years, so I will show some theoretical approach and then more of a practical, which I'm working now on. And my topic is traffic forecasting for dynamic route scheduling. So a bit of literature review. So the idea is to focus on food delivery in the urban cities. And in the last 5 years, the area grew quite a lot, especially during the COVID period, and now continues to grow. And the issue is that if we cannot continue to grow, we will have lot of more cargo delivered to multiple places in smaller quantities, well, compared to traditional retail shops. And because of that, there will be a lot of more traffic jams, pollution, and so on in the city. And the statistics show that by 2013, if the e-commerce sector will grow, we can have about 20% more traffic jams and air pollution. So we need to find more, better management routing approaches for that purpose. And companies, what usually do now is they invest more in infrastructure, in multiple vehicles, in warehousing, in decentralized warehouse or pickup locations, but all this requires, investment for capital, for equipment, for place. And we want to provide some recommendations from management side, analytical side, how we can improve this process, without additional infrastructure and so on. And at the moment, this last part is quite expensive compared to the whole supply chain. So speaking about the scheduling algorithms, route scheduling, so the focus is not only how to move one truck from point A to B, but let's say we have 100 trucks and 10,000 cargos, and how we can do this fleet optimization with multiple vehicles. And when we are doing this modeling, some of them are considering only delivery destinations, others are considering time window when the people make orders, and it's different also how you evaluate the route, which is better. Do you calculate time, distance, environmental effect? And speaking about e-grocery, and what I'm focusing on, it's food quality. So let's say you have delivery of tomatoes, it has a shelf life of 7 days, and you order the product online to end consumer, and you put a 2-hour time window for delivery. And if that person is not at home, you will need to return the product back to the warehouse and deliver again the next day. So you will lose shelf life in that process. And when we make the schedule 10 delivery locations, so we can see that one of them won't be delivered on time. But if we change the sequence based on traffic flow, let's say, we might deliver on time and increase the remaining shelf life. So this is some specificity for e-grocery. And research paper who combines this, food quality, traffic flow, there's only a few, and they usually provide more abstract environment and doesn't do on larger scale what we are trying to accomplish. So the first thing what we want to do is, a bit related to previous talk about digital twins, prepare the environment in which these kinds of simulations can be tested. So create this road network with traffic flow information, And the initial analysis part will be on the traffic sensor information and so on. And later, in a few years, planning to move towards route scheduling itself. So that's the main concept, and want to share some theoretical model that we did. So in this model, we want to test what we discussed. We have this abstract environment of the city, more from web-based, how to say. So here we have industrial area, the warehouse, the trucks. We have the city, the household, traffic lights, moving cars, and we create the delivery orders, the schedule. We have the database with tables of household orders with route schedules, so quite a lot of technical things, how to say. And we have a probability that we will have traffic jams or congestions, with black points. So when a truck moves through this black point, its speed is reduced, and we can simulate how to better plan the schedules based on this simulation. But this is like a not real world example, but the concept is the same. So what now we want to do is reproduce basically this simulation in a real world example. And now we are focusing on traffic flow information. So my focus is on Vilnius city, and we have quite a lot of processing issues how to accomplish that. So in Vilnius we have about 1,500 streets, about 30,000 intersections. So you can see the map with intersection points, and around 250 intersections has sensor data that measures traffic flow every hour. And we have that for 2 years period, like historical data. And not sure, since this is not like a computer science conference, some background, some of the calculations we want to do with neural networks, and for that purpose we need to use GPUs. And for larger processing, we need to have computational power. So I'm using infrastructure with 28 processing units compared to a game laptop we have 4 or 8. And RAM computer memory in a gaming laptop it's 16, and in the workstation I'm using around 128. And it's still not enough to process everything. Need to think of ways how to optimize that. And the traffic statistics data that we have also requires some cleaning and adjustments, because the values of the speed go to 120. So in city limits, it's maybe a bit strange in some areas, but in Vilnius we have this. Like you are going on 100 miles and someone is honking that get out of the way. And in other cases we have very low speed, because let's say in night one car passes the sensor, another passes, one is fast, another is quick, and the average speed is 20 kilometers. So it's not very accurate. We still need to make some data cleaning and so on. So another issue what we need to solve is to interpolate this information, because we have around 30,000 intersections, and only a few hundred intersections has traffic flow data. So mathematically it's called interpolation, how we can calculate the traffic flow statistics for all other intersections that we don't have sensor data. So that's also a challenge to get the mathematical models to do that. And one aspect what we want to integrate that it will be possible is weather statistics. So there's open access satellites, Copernicus called, and we have weather statistical data, CRRA called, that they provide 5 kilometer grid with average temperature, humidity, and so on. So it's still not accurate, not from sensor data, but from satellite images, but still we can use it. And in Lithuania, we have, well, snow, ice, and so on. So in some months, maybe it's not suitable, in others it's more effective. But in general, we want to use this intermediate information of weather statistics to calculate, well, everything. So the first part is to integrate, well, this all data into one place. And if we want to make some calculations, we need to create a distance matrix between all intersections. And since we have 30,000 intersections, so we need a distance matrix 30,000 by 30,000, well, connections, how to say. So again, we need to separate it in subcategories, how to say, and find ways how to optimize that. Speaking about forecasting, well, I'm planning to use neural networks and basically not going into much mathematical detail, but some of the algorithms use just time series data and they don't take into consideration nearby intersections. And others can take, well, this time and spatial information, well, together. And I'm planning to use graph neural networks, called like that. So how we can be implemented? Well, when we have this road network, we can represent it into graphs that we have intersection or roads, and we can create a temporal graph from that. So let's say we have a road network information with weather statistics and traffic flow, 2018, September 1 to 12 o'clock, and 2 hours after we have a duplicate of everything the same of the road structure, but different traffic flow information and so on. So we'll need to think how to process that, but basically this information can be provided in a forecasting algorithm, which takes consideration in the spatial and temporal dependencies through the whole graph network. And the architecture, how it should look like, well, firstly, we will store the data, gather it. We will develop a model to interpolate and to forecast. So we want not only to have this traffic flow, but also have a possibility to predict at least 1 day ahead, 24 hours, that we will create a scheduling based on their, well, prediction, not on historical, well, the data. And this information will be stored, and then we can retrieve it, well, when we are creating the schedules. And the second part will be to create agents that will be like vehicles, pedestrians, or some layers in the environment, who will then communicate with the environment, create schedules, orders, so on, and we will have this environment for, well, simulations. So next I'm planning to integrate, well, the data, create the algorithms, and move forward with scheduling. And well, it's a bit, how to say, not technically difficult, but also from communication side, because I used open access data, had quality issues, didn't have intermediate information, which sensors connect to which roads. Had to contact companies who share that information to ask them to provide additional data. And well, that takes time, but now I think I have all the required, well, information, just need to implement now. So after half of year discussion, writing, so moving forward. So basically that's it. I've done some publications of the approach more theoretical, and now moving towards the practical side. So if someone will be interested, you can check some of them. And that's it. Thank you. Maybe you have questions?
The question is that it's very nice that you are trying to predict or forecast the future. But do you see it possible, or do you think it is worth to make an analysis that what happened today, we forecasted yesterday, and what yesterday, the day before, and to evaluate the the punctualities, how good the estimation was. Because nowadays companies has this data. Okay, so the driver has the smartphone. He is using some type of system to support the route. And finally, if we can, we're using it just on the operational level. I would be so happy to see research when it is about that, you know, your daily operation is failing. And I see because your application or something planned it for your day, and this is the result. Forming the KPIs and going on the past data. Yeah, companies are always saying that I'm not interested in the past. Please tell me the future. Okay. Ask for a fortune teller. I can give you his number. But somehow I feel that we forget. It's an excellent thing, but probably that's an added value. If you analyze what is the real problem, are there really like the previous case? Are there really problems? Are those journeys real? Or because in that way you can highlight that these intersections you should avoid. Even if I predict for you that tomorrow it will be nice and easy to go through. So this historical data analysis, what do you think about? It's just like I'm so curious. I'm searching for papers dealing with this. And
yeah, thank you for the question. I think these are like two different philosophies. One is that employees, people are making the deliveries and they want business intelligence like at the moment, some kind of analytics, how to say.
Yes.
And the approach I'm trying to, focus on more is like imagine that we close all the retail shops and we move only to e-commerce. So we won't have enough drivers, to fulfill that demand. So we need to use autonomous vehicles, trucks, so on. Or drones or something, so then we need this kind of, prediction, routing to use that. So these are, two different approaches. One is more on technology side without, employees, drivers, and another is more on business intelligence for employees, for insights.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think there are two different things actually.
Because we didn't read the paper yet.
Because we didn't read the paper. Yeah.
Do not question out of this.
Yeah, maybe we have different perspectives.
Originally there was a question, so I'm gonna ask it.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I think it's connected to the previous question. The research they did says that trying to create this is very hard because the level of noise is very, very high. So if there is a junction, it's one road on Avenue in New York. The other day it might be clear because majority of people who are studying the junction will choose a different path.
Yeah.
So the conjunctions appear on different crossroads. So the original question actually was if you have any thought how to prevent this, because you said you are going to forecast 24 hours in advance. And the connection with the previous question is actually that I see it very valuable to look at historical data and try to understand why our forecast actually failed and incorporate it into the model. You had a recurrent neural network in your possible methods, which might be able to actually incorporate this kind of loop. So that's why I said I see the connection.
Okay.
I am not telling the truth.
The jokes.
Yeah, that's okay. I say that I see there might be a connection using the historical data as a feedback loop to your model to actually improve the forecast.
Yeah, it can be possible to do that, but in my case, I don't have historical delivery information from companies. I will try to simulate that, so maybe in the future it's possible to, integrate, if I can get some historical, delivery.
Yes.
Okay.
Not in Vilnius.
But I expect not in Vilnius.
Not in Vilnius.
Yeah. Find the data, please.
Okay, from the company. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, that's the presentation. Yeah. We're going to do this next week. Our data is organized for students, so we need there again. And I was thinking whether how would things change if you would consider like electric vehicles and green zones that enable all the electric vehicles and or parking spaces that are only used for electric vehicles. So if you would use electric vehicles for the food distribution, for example, would things change or would it be more or less the same?
Thank you for that question. Well, in this urban environment case, I think additional, we shall take into consideration the energy, the battery, but since now it's more developed, maybe for the whole day it will be enough, well, depending on the number of vehicles, but how to say, the basis for the road network will be the same. So in this process, I want to develop this road network to open access it, and then, well, other researchers can use it for electric vehicles, for drones, for others, but have this basic, well, environment prepared for.
Okay. Yeah, because some cities get different network for, let's say, internal combustion and for electric vehicles.
Yeah.
Electric vehicles can enter like a pedestrian area or something like that. So.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I when I was in Amsterdam, I know these regions that are completely, well, car-free, and there are like millions of tourists there, and also we are using, well, and bicycles and motor cars and so on, and even like the vessel shipping, because we have inline water as well through the whole like city. So yeah, it's not like for all purposes, but, well, generally for road delivery. Yeah, but thank you. Yeah, we'll have.
Actually, I see two technical constraints.
Mm-hmm.
One is, of course, appearance of electric vehicles, which need to be recharged, like the others. And this requires certain infrastructure and defines routes where they're capable of operating. And the second one is actually hardware that you chose to process the data.
Mm-hmm.
i9 processor is 128 gigabytes of RAM. Is actually space technology. So who can afford it? Is it a central process unit that communicates then with supposed to communicate with the vehicles?
Yeah, well, in this case, it's only for how to say it, research, and on practical side, if we implement that, yes, there should be, well, technical constraints. Yeah, that's true, but we are, well, growing with computational power, everything. Well, so some, but yeah, it will be, well, at least now it's focus on more on like preparation side, what we could implement in the future.
Well, I see the problem. Historically, you can calculate routes, predict the future based on the data that we have available now. But accidents happen. Some unpredicted occurrences like punctures, like crashes, like something, I don't know what, I'm calling from Rijeka. I'm traveling to Rijeka frequently, and when you come to the sign, stop, detour, where, particularly following the configuration of the Rijeka, mountainous area, the roads are narrow, you don't know where to go. If the signs are not put correctly, then you're lost and you lose hours. Jams and so on.
Okay.
So that real-time process, real information, I believe that the solution to solve the problem. Historically, how much the states made, I don't see a point. Maybe we can test the solution and efficiency of the system. In everyday use, when you are on the road, imagine yourself at the driver. Yesterday's papers were telling yesterday's news.
Yeah, well, I will have that in mind, thank you. Any more questions, feedback? Okay, so that's it then. I imagine we can, I think, finish the session, have a coffee break, and we will have a next session. And know when.
Yeah, in 15 minutes, plus minus. Thank you for staying with us. I don't know how much you could hear, so sorry for that, but yeah. But I hope that you feel pressure to stay just an opportunity for you. So I will send you emails, maybe today or tomorrow, with the certificates. The proceedings is already online. You can find it, but I will also send you the link. So yeah, let's stay in touch, and if you have conference, feel free to invite us. Any kind of cooperation, we are open, so why not? Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
I cannot see this because I know every information you have.